peoples of the worldwide federated internet. What's good? We got a 2-for-1 deal today. I got something to discuss. Okay, so once you can get past the idea that you don't have to be a proselyte to any one political party, that it's ideas that matter. It's how we come to certain conclusions, how we get to certain ends. That's what really matters. I don't really care who the face of something is if what they're doing matched up with what they're saying is the right direction to go in. Also, what I know is it's easier to control people who are constantly bickering. Very easy to control. And you know how I do. I know y'all gonna get tired of me saying that, but it is what it is. It's my channel. This is my social space. Welcome. In the Bible, in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 25. Now, you can read the whole chapter to get the context, but something is said, and there's a truth in this verse. We've all said this. We've all heard it. This is where the idea comes from. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So we see right there that concept and that idea that we've all heard. A house divided will fall. That's the truth. Now, why did I bring that up? What's the benefit in people constantly bickering back and forth over issues that we can really have a discussion about? A meaningful discussion. If people are divided on an issue, they're easier to control. They're easier to manipulate. They're easier to guide because they're divided. So they're not, you hear all this talk amongst people who subscribe to socialism and communism about pooling together resources. Well, I got one for you. How about we pool together the resource of our mind as a country, right? How about we come together and have some meaningful conversations to actually get to the resolution of a problem instead of constantly bickering and arguing about a thing. Part of me thinks that this is orchestrated. This is exactly what maybe some nefarious power that be behind the scenes wants. I don't know that. I can't prove that. I don't know that for a fact. But maybe there's some nefarious power, humanly power behind the scenes that knows if people are divided, they won't see what's coming. And really and truly, that's true. You look at any music group that fell apart. You look at NBA teams, NFL teams. You look at great NBA teams. Look at Shaq and Kobe. Division broke up one of the greatest teams in NBA history. I didn't say the greatest because that's subjective, right? We all have our subjective idea of what the greatest team in NBA history was. But division broke up one of the greatest teams in NBA history. Think about that. Where would Shaq and Kobe have been had they been able to sit down, have an adult conversation, maybe with a mediator or maybe just them two, about whatever differences they had? And what if they would have both said, you know what? All right, here's the deal. We have our disagreements in this area. We've talked about it. We don't necessarily see eye to eye, but we in this together. Let's make it happen. How often do you hear about teams breaking apart because one person had this idea and the next person had this idea, and instead of going on to achieving great things, they broke apart? You can think what you want about LeBron and Kyrie. In my opinion, now I don't think it was a beef between them two, but there was some turmoil within the Cavaliers. But in my opinion, had LeBron and Kyrie stayed together, I think they would have been over time, and they were getting there, a force to be reckoned with. Division never helps. Division among siblings doesn't help. Division in a marriage doesn't help. Division amongst teammates never helps. Division amongst a business partnership never helps. In all those scenarios, every time there's division, there's destruction. So what makes any of us think that anything's going to be different with a country? If we're constantly at each other's throat, if we're constantly divided, if we can't have an actual conversation about an issue without somebody get mad because the person on the other side doesn't see things the way they see it. The only time I generally get mad in a conversation, really, and I got to work on this, I get really frustrated, is if I'm talking to a person and they won't listen to what I'm saying. Not that they can't see what I'm saying. Some people just don't understand your point of view and your vantage point, and I get that. But when a person won't listen, that's what's frustrating. Because when I talk with people, I make a conscious effort that, all right, even though I cannot see this from their vantage point, even though I may not agree with what they're saying, I've got to listen because maybe there's something that I missed. But I said all that to say, if we don't get this together, if we don't understand as a nation and as a people in the United States that we're never going to agree 100%, but we got to at least be able to sit down and have a conversation, because this constant division along racial lines, along party lines, along, whatever lines you want to bring. Now, again, as I say, we're never going to think 100% the same. That's not going to happen. But we at least have to be able to sit down and say, all right, I disagree with this person, but let me hear them out and let's at least have a conversation about it, instead of going back and forth and creating this great divide. Nothing gets solved in that divide. Nothing at all. No matter what your ideology is or my ideology, I might disagree with you. I might strongly disagree with you, but at least we can sit down and have a conversation. Maybe we come to a middle ground. Maybe we don't come to a middle ground. Maybe we just agree that we disagree, and we're going to try to go at this from our different vantage point, but there won't be this constant bickering and arguing that gets nowhere. A house divided cannot stand. So what are we going to do about that? Are we going to solve it? Or are we going to constantly just bicker back and forth until whatever powers that be get the exact results that they're looking for? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? The next time you run into somebody or you have an exchange, whether it be on social media or in real life with someone that you don't agree with, how about you have an actual conversation and not an argument? Nothing's solved in an argument. Things can be solved in a conversation. Stay frosty, people.